since I was coaching the elementary school. It's kind of a different sport. It's one-on-one, direct competition. Not that any other sport's any different, but our school's kind of limited on sports for girls in the wintertime. And there are some girls that I know will participate.
And it's easier if girls wrestle girls.
I was gonna say, if you start a girls' team, do they only wrestle girls? And
Only
if there
wrestle
isn't,
girls.
Well,
or can they do boys if there's no girls'
the
team?
way that it started and the way that my understanding is, and the multiple Zoom meetings I've been in with this due to the pandemic, it initially starts where you have the girls with the boys. That's what we have now. It's literally not going to change. We could run that practice all together. Once the team is up, fully running with a full squad, they get picked, either the boys or the girls. We're starting this to have the full girls team. So they're gonna be separate entities. Again, still coach the same way, they practice together. Like I said, cost is beyond minimal. It'll essentially be competition singlets, which are cut differently for females to eliminate any kind of exposure. And if that's a problem with the board, our booster club and coaching staff will pay for those. If that's gonna be the tipping point for the decision. But I would really like to get this on the agenda, to get it voted on, so we could really be a pioneer and a front runner in the state of Pennsylvania. Like I said, if you guys decide to do this, we're gonna be number 11 in the state.
So Scott, I'm sorry to
Yeah.
cut you short on things, but I have spoken to Mr. Black about this, and after Mrs. DeCiano brought it up a couple of meetings ago, I know he said he spoke to you about it.
Yeah, we've been back and forth and speaking about it and kind of getting all the details and the information to each other.
And I spoke to him earlier today, actually, regarding, what's the status, so, he thinks we're in good shape, ready to move forward with that, if the board does decide that. I didn't have it on the agenda for next week to be voted on. I was planning for August. I don't know if that time frame is something that.
Do you have a lot going on in the summer that would benefit if it was on the agenda sooner?
We have a clinic that's.
We have a clinic that's gonna happen in July,
I think more girls will come out
If
if there's a
if
team.
it's done, yeah.
So the commissioners are helping us with it, so it's at the end of June, they have to be paid up for. So I would think it would be beneficial to add it to the agenda sooner rather than later for that reason, so that they're more apt to sign up.
Okay. We can discuss it at the work session, and we'll definitely, you'll know either way if it's on the agenda for.
Does anybody have any questions about it, any concerns? I know when we first started this with the elementary school, we changed all of our bylaws because it was specific to male athletes only. And our coaching staff at that level, which is volunteer, did not like that.
I think it's a great idea. My one question was, when it comes to, I know the practice especially, it's fine to mix up with the boys and girls, et cetera. When it comes to only competition, will that be something looked at, or will it be just only females competing against females?
That's the end game goal.
Okay.
It's getting the wheels going in the right direction. Right now, our girls compete against boys, and they do very well.
Right.
We have two, this year I believe we have at least a half a dozen girls that are extremely interested.
Yeah, I put a field program out there I'm Kevin Roginski, I'm the assistant wrestling coach. And I took Lexi down to the state tournament, and I've been in the grappling business for over 25 years. I've seen it all. And what I witnessed that weekend was unbelievable. Let me tell you something, the technique, the camaraderie within the girls, it was beautiful to see. What we're trying to do is, ladies and gentlemen, is that we'll have a girls team, say we have 5 girls. They will compete against boys if they choose to be. However, if there's a girls tournament next weekend, we're getting in the van and we're going. They're gonna compete.
And it counts.
and it counts. And it's gonna teach them esteem, self-defense, okay? There's more positive than there is negative in this, okay? It's a vibe going on right now in the community of girls wrestling. They all wanna come out, girls are coming to me, they wanna be managers of the team, and there's a lot of positive going on in our program. And I feel if we do this, we're gonna rise above. We're gonna rise above it, let us be the leaders. Thank you.
So does anybody have any questions for myself or Coach Cap? Thank you very much for your time, ladies and gentlemen.
Thank you, Scott. Thank you, Kevin.
Anyone else from the public who would like to speak?
Hi, Sandy Summers. I'm here on behalf of the Literary Magazine this year. I'm co-chair with Justin Hayden, and we would like to present the board a copy of the Literary Magazine for each of you, as well as for Dr. Barrett and Dr. LaRosa. We're extremely proud of our students this year. In the midst of a pandemic, they pulled together and put together, I have to say, one of the most beautiful literary magazines ever. So I'm very happy to present that.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. And then Rose, I have a copy for you as well.
Thank you very much. And I have to say, in years past, the students done a wonderful job, so I really can't wait to look forward to looking into this one.
I hope you all
Who did the cover this year?
Noel Cruz. Thank you.
Thank you.
Enjoy.
Thank you so much.
Anyone else? If not, we'll move forward. Okay. This evening for this meeting, for the special agenda, due to the warm weather, it was just a concern with the mask and the temperatures. So I really wanted to see if we could alleviate the mask mandate outdoors. And I'd like to see that happen. So I wanted to go ahead and make a motion. And then I'll read a motion, and if anybody wants to second it, great, you can go ahead and take a vote. And if there's any questions or comments, please feel free to speak your part, okay? Just due to the warmer weather and our schedule of outdoor activity, it causes for concern for safety of our students, especially when wearing a mask or face coverage. According to the Child Care Weather Watch, many days may be classified as a danger zone. Based on this concern, masks will be optional outdoors for all students and staff. These safety concerns are an allowable exemption under the current mask order section 3, which states, if wearing a face cover would either cause a medical condition or exacerbate an existing one, including respiratory issue that impedes one's breathing. So that is the motion that I have on the table this evening. If there is a second. Okay. Motion was made by myself to remove masks outdoors during these warm weather due to the heat index and the safety of our students. And that motion was seconded by Mr. Auckland. Rose, does it matter if we go around the table, do it all at once?
You could do roll call, or you want to do a full, just a yays and nays? What do you want me to do roll call?
If you want to do a roll call, we can do it that way.
Just a yes?
Okay, yes, if you would like to get rid of the mask for outdoors for the safety of our students.
No, to
maybe.
keep them.
Yes. Are you good with that?
Yeah.
Okay. Is there any comment that anybody might have?
Yeah, I'm going to oppose this motion. We discussed the reasons why at the last meeting. I think that there's the potential for is it ESSA, ESSR, those funds being withheld because of this. And I just think it's irresponsible to do that with a few days left of school. So I'm going to vote no.
Okay. Anyone else have a comment?
Question.
Yes.
How does it fall when they come back and say, you have to wear masks?
Well, currently, as of June 28th, the mask restrictions are lifted.
Right.
Currently, though, we are still under the governor's orders to uphold the mask mandate, whether inside or out. So therefore, I cannot recommend anything other than the masks. So I do understand the concerns, we get them. We've been telling teachers to try to provide as many mask breaks as we can. Be cautious if it's warm outside, keep them inside for recess for that day, especially with the humidity. trying just to come up with different strategies to assist in, you know, especially these warmer days.
Who's worried we're gonna pull something off?
Well, we're gonna be working on our health plan
Correct, so
Yeah.
we're
as
actually
of,
going
until
to.
July 31st, we can work on our
So
health
we'll have
plan.
to have a special meeting, probably sometime
To work on
in
our
July.
next year.
We'll be working on the health and safety plan over the next several weeks. We're gonna meet with the surrounding districts again.
Has to be a new one, sorry.
Yes.
Correct.
There's a new one coming. You have to do a new health and safety
Right.
plan by July
We can
31st.
make them optional, I don't,
So
you
that'll,
know, we're not wearing masks, we wanna wear it, we wanna do, that's fine, but I don't wanna keep wearing it. I'm just telling you straight.
Sure.
I did it for a year, and I don't wanna get into the issue, you know.
Right.
Yeah, and that's why we just wanted kind of to keep it
So-
simple. We've all discussed it, we all know where we stand. I don't think anyone's gonna change our mind
Right.
which way or the other. So if we could just go ahead and vote.
Does this motion include graduation?
That,
Maybe a separate one for that.
if it's outdoors, it would cover it. This is gonna be in effect as of now until,
We're also working on graduation for students to have opportunities to remove their masks, as well as with distancing outdoors, as well as when they cross the stage.
I would like to see no mask during graduation. I know North
House,
Pocono,
North Pocono, Valley View, Scranton Prep, they all, and they're in Lackawanna County, had no masks, and they were outside. There's no reason that our county, which had lower rates of transmission, should have to do the opposite of what they did.
But again, we are working on how that would look, with potential opportunities. We're still working on it.
So if-
A little over a week left, but.
as of now, it's outdoors, correct?
As of now, that's.
It is outdoors.
So depending on whether.
So we can make a motion, correct, after this. If it does plan to be indoors, we can vote on that as well.
Right now,
This would
motion
cover
covers
the
it.
outdoor graduation. Just for, you know, I really researched over the weekend. I know Dunmore had their 6th grade field day, not a mask to be had on the kids, and it was 90-something degrees, 86 degrees. And I would just like that opportunity for my kids in the district, and also all of our kids in the district. We have a packed week of outdoor events, and that's what I would like to see. So, Rose, if you don't mind.
Hold on.
I'm sorry.
Before we vote, I want to, like you said, we've already discussed this at length, and we've been back and forth, and none of us are thrilled with the masking, but we're on the fence whether we keep going or not. But either way, once the vote, no matter which way it goes, I want to take the opportunity to thank all of you and all of our administration, our teachers, and our students, because they've done a fantastic job. We've stayed in school, I think, as much, if not more than any of the other districts. We've done a fantastic, and it's hats off to all of them, because it had to be, it was group effort. It was, students have been fantastic, staff has been fantastic, administrative teams have worked really hard on these plans. So with the 5 days left, I'm inclined to stay that route, but I want to make that clear no matter which way it goes. Thank you for all the work that was put in.
For that.
To everyone.
And as you said, it was a collaborative effort among everybody.
Everybody.
Absolutely. And we're very grateful that we made it work.
I would just hope that whatever way this goes, if it's like today and all these kids are outside and if a student doesn't have a mask on, I would hope there isn't a problem.
But you
To
know
a
what,
certain-
Joe?
I
We
know, I
can't
know.
guarantee that because
I
there
understand.
are teachers to this day with
I know.
86+ degrees
I agree.
saying, get it up over your nose or go sit on the curb.
The only reason why I said
So,
that is so that
if
it's
we
out
did this,
in
it
public
would be
more,
impact.
and that's how I feel.
Right,
I mean, I pretty much know what I'm gonna do,
Yeah.
but I'm telling you,
yeah.
I mean, I wouldn't want to be out there all day either. But-
Well, I know it was public news yesterday, Governor Cuomo lifted the mask mandate for outdoors in Negro. I also have to say, I did reach out to that Bucks County School District. They have students, 18,000 in their district. And as soon as the mask mandate came out for their athletes, they removed that mask mandate, and that was a month ago. Last month, as soon as the athletication ended, they ended outdoor masks because of the very concern of the heat and their events, and they are in school till June 11th. And it was just last week that they relieved the mandate indoors. I'm not asking for that. I wouldn't want not for our administration to have heart failure or to be that placed on them. but I do see a severe safety concern. And that's, I don't take it lightly by no means, but, you know, it was 90+ degrees. And if we had special ed on Monday, and we had the 5th grade field picnic, if we forced those students, and I was grateful that our special ed department did not force that, because that would have been a severe issue. And that's where I think I would like to move on. So I don't want to keep this diligent, we all know where we are. Rose, if you want to go ahead and just do a roll call.
Mrs. Fiorella,
I am in favor of making mask optional outdoors.
Mr. Hope,
No.
Mr. Kowalski,
Yes.
Mrs. DeCiano,
Yes.
Mr. Enslin,
Yes.
Mr. Gershi,
No.
Mr. Gambino,
No.
Mr. Offman,
Yes.
and Mr. Wood.
No.
So we have 5 yes votes, if I counted that correctly, and the motion passes.
So we have 4 members. Okay, so that motion does pass, thank you, everyone, appreciate that. I also wanted to make another question on the health plan. We can make modifications to that. I know now with the mask outdoors being removed, I'd like to see if we could modify that in some way. And the concern was for me, for our principals and our nursing staff and the support staff that comes in on weekends or whenever to do all the contact tracing and all of that, as if on the last day of school, if there was an issue there. I would like to follow the Department of Health guidelines, and more strictly as opposed to making it a 14-day quarantine. Because if you have a negative test, you can return, I think it's within 10 hours of that negative test. It's midnight of that day. And we don't follow that. But I would like to see if we can, we don't have to agree on it, but maybe through the work session, if we could vote on something to make that, alleviate that stress from our staff.
I don't believe the 10-hour.
Because I can just say, I had the Department of Health call, we had a test on one individual, she said, you are clear to return midnight tonight. But I could not because our district said you needed 4 more days.
In our conversation with the Department of Health, they still recommend 14 days for Pennsylvania.
But the Department of Health
For
is clearing that
school-
individual.
But for school districts.
Right,
That's-
but I was for a school district, and she was legally clear.
And
So, but I'm just asking, you know, I don't wanna go back and forth, I'm just saying, is there something we can do to alleviate all of that close contact and all of that nonsense? We haven't had a case since May 15th, I think, in the district. I think that was the last May incident. Yes, I think it was that weekend. And the only reason I remember that is my daughter's birthday. But if we can do something to alleviate, that's what, I don't know what that is. I know our policy states we will follow the Department of Health. And if students are getting clearance to come back, then that's following the Department of Health. So I don't know. But we can move on, but as long as we make a motion that we can do something about that, can we?
I have to look at the way
Okay.
our health and safety plan is worded, because if it.
Because I know you can
I know in
modify
many
it.
regards it says follow guidelines, CDC guidelines, and so it states that, and guidelines are already set to a certain parameters. We may not have to adjust that portion of it.
Okay,
But.
but if we can, we will.
We will look into that.
Okay. Did we want a motion for graduation if it was indoors? Somebody just make that motion, I'm happy to make that motion if graduation is moved indoors.
Want to no mask outside?
Yes, yeah, and I would actually make that recommendation. On Friday, we have 2 hours in the morning and then the graduation that evening, hopefully, but remaining outside, so.
No, but what if it's inside?
Inside is an
More
alternate
difficult
last
last
result, that is.
Right,
if it
so we're
rains-
pushing.
If it rains Friday night, we're looking at Saturday, if it rains Saturday, we're looking at Saturday at 4.
Okay,
And then-
because I know there were some issues on that, and I had a number of people reach out on that, so I just want to make sure, are we good with that here?
So ultimately, unless we have 2
Okay.
full days of rain, we're going to do what we can to have that.
Okay, All right, as long as we're good then. Okay? Anybody else have any concerns?
No concern,
Okay.
question
Yeah?
about graduation, are they going to have that parade this year?
No. We're going back to the traditional model of graduation.
Okay. If there is no
If they are, we're not arranging it.
further business.
Which is kind of technically, we didn't last
Come on,
year either, but
They present from both
Yes.
elementary schools to here.
Yeah. So I'm saying, you get on it, let's,
yeah,
come
we
on,
allowed
organize
them,
something.
we allowed them to congregate, to meet on either end. They got together and kind of did the.
You should have somebody with a hot car being
Or a hot.
You want Louis to do it?
Matt, how would we get that out to the district this evening, or is it, how do we
there.
move
We start on
forward?
Monday, Bernice, or we just start like tomorrow?
Tomorrow?
It's optional, right?
Yes, absolutely.
We'll put out a notice tomorrow.
Okay. Can announcements be made in the elementary schools? Because I'm sure if they're getting a notice tomorrow, then kids are already at school.
Unless I can go out tonight.
Yeah, I quite honestly, I don't know how this meeting is gonna go until I know it's.
Right, no, I get
10 o'clock or 11 o'clock at
it.
night.
As long as there's notice sometime within the buildings. Okay, great. Any other further questions? Okay, meeting is adjourned. We do have a work session following this.